Good morning, everyone. Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are, and welcome to this week's Weekly Energy Boost. My name is Elisheva, and today Eitan and I have the pleasure of sharing with you the power of the pause and how pausing is the key to winning, to success. It's an ancient tradition or ancient practice to give time to allow, to restore, to recharge. And there is a specific prescription on how to do that from the Kabbalists that I don't think we've ever shared on any episode of Weekly Energy Boost. But we're going to look more deeply into the value, the necessity, and also the benefits of bringing the pause and the recharge into our practice, not only on a yearly basis, let's take a vacation, let's get away, let's have a retreat kind of thing, but literally on a weekly basis and on a daily basis, and even in the midst of a process, how to understand when it's time to step back and allow things to grow roots, to develop, to break through on their own, versus when is it the time to push and to have greater urgency to make things happen. Weekly Energy Boost is a 7-day spiritual weather forecast where we provide our listeners with the most powerful and practical tools to navigate the coming 7 days. We do that by gleaning through the wisdom and teachings of Kabbalah and end up providing in every episode the wisdom and tools that can not only help you navigate the ups and downs of the coming week, but the wisdom and tools can be used at any time. And because we're now in the midst of the month of Taurus, the month of Iyar, we're in the midst of the Omer, which also provides us with opportunities to restrict, to not push things forward, to not insist to move ahead, and, or I should say to force, not to force things to happen, as well as this week's energy and teachings from the Zohar. All of them align and point to the idea of pausing. So Eitan, where's the best place to start this conversation?
So I would start with the big picture. All of us, that's human nature, would love to grow, to expand our positive feelings, our success, our love, our blessings. And while the universe, the light of the Creator, wants to give it to us every day. Actually, it says, when we wake up in the morning, the Creator is infusing within each one of us the breath of life. Means new light that I didn't have yesterday. And that new light includes new injection of health, of success, of creativity, of joy, of love, of growth, of inspiration, every day. And very often we think, I have to do a lot of things in order to be able to grow and make things better. Yes, this is part of our life in this world that we live in, that we need to do actions. We need to move forward. We need to change habits. We need to make commitments. We need to dare to jump. Today, we're not going to speak about that. The other part that actually allows the renewal to take place, the rejuvenation to take place, is the moment of pause. It's the paradox. We think that by pushing forward, that's when the renewal happens. Kabbalistically, by pausing my actions, my mind, my concerns, the detail-oriented mind, the calculated mind, how will it be, how can I fix some work? By pausing that completely, that's how we create space for the renewal energy to take over. Why? What am I actually pausing? I'm pausing control. I'm pausing reactivity. I'm pausing being stuck in the process. By doing so, I'm becoming one with the force of the universe that is just is. God itself, the energy of the universe, is here. Not fixing anything. It's infinite and it's here. By me pausing the reactive vibration, I'm actually becoming one with that force of renewal. So now, Elisheva, let's speak about different practical examples in life. How does it work? How does it work? Where would you start?
A couple months ago in a class where we were teaching about the value of pausing, that on a very simple, even biological level, when we pause our obsessive thoughts, or we manage to take space and allow ourselves to choose our response, where we're coming from, our energy, that in essence, what we're doing is we're allowing ourselves to tap into a higher power, right? That need to force things to happen, to make things happen, that perception that it's all about me. By gradually and consistently practicing pausing, we begin almost a second nature of making more conscious choices and moving more consciously and deliberately through the day. So a student raised his hand and said, I love this idea. I'm so happy for you that your life gives you the luxury of be able to pause during the day, but I can't. That's not my life. I get to work, I go from meeting to meeting to meeting. I don't have time for a glass of water. Sometimes I don't even get to go to the bathroom. I just can't imagine a reality in which I can pause, I can breathe, I can ask, what do I want from this next meeting? What do I desire? Like all the things that we were teaching in the class, really being able to choose and inject consciousness. And so my colleague responded in that class, the truth is you don't have the luxury not to pause. That being able to step back is essentially what we were created to do. That we didn't ask to come to the physical reality. When our souls came with our specific gifts to reveal and our specific transformation to accomplish, we didn't come and say, okay, we want to do it on our own. The whole idea was to be in a physical reality, yet for the purpose, we're in this physical reality for the sake of revealing light, for the sake of spiritual connection and bringing the light to all, even the most mundane moments of our life, from traffic to the grocery store to, refilling the paper roll in your bathroom. Every moment has an opportunity to reveal light in it. And because society wires us somehow to be hyper productive, super busy, if you don't hustle, you're not going to be successful. My colleague said, do you think that the most successful people in the world don't sleep, don't eat, don't go to the bathroom because they're so busy? The opposite, that they leave time for themselves to restore, to recharge. And even if you're on an hourly wage and you can't afford to take breaks financially, you can't afford not to take mental breaks, spiritual breaks, energetic breaks, because when you do, that's what allows your partnership with the light of the Creator to be activated. That's when you create space for less of your agenda to be manifest and more of the infinite possibilities that the truth is we really do desire. Maybe we don't believe it's possible, or we haven't taken the time or the space to imagine how much better things can be than the reality that I'm shooting toward. The fact of the matter is, and this is something that we learn about from this week's energy as well, is that we are meant to be partners with the light of the Creator. We call the Creator our silent partner, not our silent boss. We're not here to take orders and make things happen. We're here to do it in sync with, aligned with, in partnership with the light of the Creator. And if our perception is that I make it happen, I plant the seeds, I crack the seeds open, I water this, it's all up to us, the opposite, that the universe will show us, at least try to show us over and over and over again, how it's not us. That when we believe it's only us, we limit, we activate the deterioration process more than the growth process, when our perception is, if I don't do it, it's not going to happen. And so I believe that in this time we have the opportunity to take that allowing, right? That I need to, we said it a couple months ago on the podcast, I don't think we need to tell the whole story again, but that idea of pushing the rock versus moving the rock. We're just here to push the rock. And it's not nonstop pushing. It's to push for an hour, 2 hours, and then allow the process to unfold.
Beautiful. I think that sentence that you said, we cannot afford not to pause. Let's look at our physical body. Any healthy cells, in some point, in order to allow renewal of the cellular energy of the body, needs to die, to let go. It needs to pause functioning as the cell of the liver, as to let go of any seemingly contribution to the body. And then it's being renewed and coming back. That's a healthy body. What is a cancer cell? It's a cell that doesn't pause. I just want to multiply. I just want to stay in the liver, to stay in the pancreas, to stay whatever it is, whatever, God forbid, is that cancer cell. I want to multiply. I want to be alive. I want to control. What happened then? We block the flow of the light to allow renewal and rejuvenation. So in any healthy body, there's time to function, there's time to let go of yourself. It looks like a person died, the cell died, but it's not. It's renewed. Let's look at sleeping. We know even scientifically that sleep is so essential for vital energy. Kabbalistically, we know if a person doesn't sleep straight more than 3 days, it's not just physically it's bad for you. The time to sleep is the time to recharge the soul. Of course, depend what consciousness before you go to sleep will determine what type of recharge. The time that I do nothing, the time that my conscious mind is not really present, the time that I'm not doing any action, that's essential renewal for the next infusion of energy. I'm renewed, and the actual infusion happens when I'm waking up. Is the transition between the sleep and the non-sleep. That's when the download of energy is happening. In this portion of the week, the Torah speaks about this in Israel. Every farmer needs to let go of working on the ground, working on the soil. For 1 year he has to live and to let go. It's called Shemitah. Shemitah really means let go, leave the land fallow. Don't touch it. Don't enjoy the fruits. Let go and trust. Pause working. Pause reaping the benefits from the land. And trust. And basically, the farmer needed to trust that in the 6th year, in the 7th year, and in the 8th year, they will have enough. Because the 6th year, they're still working. They need to have enough for the 7th year as well, which they are not working. And only at the end of the 8th years, they'll be able to get the crops and the fruits and the vegetables from the land. I spoke today with someone that told me, I don't understand. I know all the teachings, and I'm feeling such a challenging meetings, and so many feelings came about, resentment, anger, guilt. How do I deal with that? What does it mean to pause in that case? You know what it means, the pause is in this particular case? Pause and allow these feelings to go through you because you are clearing them with the help of the light. Don't do much. Actually, when you're trying to do something, when you try to jump to conclusions in the midst of all these feelings and ups and downs, you will be completely drained. If you allow emotions to go through you, even thoughts to go through you, but you're not identified with that, you're observing that, you're actually recharging. The formula I would say is pause, surrender, and allow renewal, and allow recharge, and allow the silent partner, as you said, Elisheva, to take over, to give them a new vision, the new inspiration. Every artist, every creative person, there's time I'm in the flow, and there's time I'm not in the flow. Don't call the time that you're not in a flow a problem. It's the time that the Creator gives you the chance to pause and to trust it non-flow moments. Recharge is happening. When we are out of control and we're so upset about it, it means the Creator is in control.
It's so true. I've spoken to so many people in the last week that are just dealing with how what they're experiencing is not the reality that they want. And even like what you were saying before, so many anxious feelings, my mind started to go to all these other examples of how pausing, that not doing or not needing to do or be busy is actually the solution. And I can think of, we could talk for hours of different examples of how not pushing, not needing to force something to happen, not needing to stay up till 2:00 in the morning actually provided the solution. And one of the things I tell as I guide people to embrace pausing, I give very simple recommendations like never answer an email right after you read it. Just like that. What ends up happening, especially if there's something bothers you about the content of the email or the text, pause. Don't use that knee-jerk reaction. Don't allow, I have to answer. I have to tell them. I have to justify. I have to defend. That part of ourselves is not who we really are. And in taking time, deliberately pausing, not when you can't use your phone or, the internet goes down and you can't, but choosing to allow time and space. I cannot tell you how many times I've not responded to an email saying, you know what, I'm going to just let some time pass, allow the emotions to dissipate, let some light into the scenario, and within an hour, 2 hours a day, the person responds back with a better answer than I could have given, or apologizing, or it just I think one of the beautiful teachings around working the land, right? What's interesting is that the emphasis is to leave the land fallow. It's not to lay in bed for 365 years and hope all goes well. There's many actions that we can take that are not necessarily physical actions that show our trust and our certainty that the light is our silent partner. And part of it may be letting the land, right, not needing to force the land to churn out another harvest, whatever that means for you in your own life. But you can still be active in your consciousness. So while you're not answering the email or you're not tilling the land, you can be sending that person energy. You can be praying for the situation. You can be talking to the Creator and asking for even greater miracles and greater blessings. It doesn't mean disconnecting. Because I think sometimes when we give advice to let go, people think, oh, so I shouldn't do anything anymore. Letting go is an energetic thing. It's a detachment. It's allowing myself to be more aligned with the non-physical part of me rather than the physical part of me. And our physical, we're very good at taking care of our physical needs, to responding to the cues our body gives us. I'm hot, I'm cold, I'm thirsty, I'm hungry, I'm tired, right? We don't have the same sense as easily on the spiritual level. So I think part of the challenge that people encounter when hearing this guidance is, but I'm not tired, but I have more energy, but I have more ideas, but I have more things my to-do. Oh, that's my favorite one. I still have stuff on my to-do list. I can't pause. I can't allow. I can't take a break. We can say it till we're blue in the face, right? You can't not take a break. But at the same time, to be more in tune with the unobvious parts of ourselves, our soul, our spirit, our emotional selves, to be able to say, what this situation needs now is less of my attention. Leave it to the light. Let the light take over. And then to come back with it, like you said, renewed, refreshed, restored, fresh eyes. Sometimes in a meeting yesterday, I said, is somebody going to review this before we send it out? And everybody was like, why? What's wrong with it? And I said, there's typos on every page, but you guys have been looking at it for days, over and over again, every day. You don't even see it anymore. So even in the very physical sense, when we are too, when we're too into something, we start to lose perspective and stop seeing what's really there. So taking that space, pausing, backing off, and allowing the process to unfold is often the reason things get stuck, is because we're not allowing the process to unfold in front of us.
Beautiful. So let's even get deeper, Elisheva, because some people pausing answering the email, they're pausing making the phone call, they're pausing talking to someone that just upsetted them, they're but their mind is not pausing.
Right.
So let's talk about that, because real energetic pause is actually the ability, because what is the ability to truly push the pause button to our mind. Because think about, how does our mind work? Every time we experience something that to our perceptions is unresolved, or I need a fix, my mind is triggered right away how to fix it, worrying about it, calculating about it, try to figure it out, seeing the different scenarios, overthinking what they think, what I should have done. And that's the opposite of pausing. So really, internally, real pause, because sometimes I agree, you cannot just pause the mind. The mind will continue to talk. But the fact that you're actually saying to yourself, because at the end of the day, consciousness is thoughts that you believe in. If you really believe in, I have to do something, then you're not pausing. But if you believe, it's tough for me, my mind is racing, my heart is racing, but please, the universe, the light, the creator, allow me to pause now and give you the steering wheel of my life now. Please take over. Yes, but that, please take over. For 5 minutes, for 10 minutes, depend on the situation, for an hour. And the fact that your mind will still work, it's okay to say, I get you, you're working, but the real me, the observing me, the soul me deciding, even though you're working, I know, please the light take over. Even though you have a little residue of these thoughts, it's okay, none of us are perfect. So it's very important to realize, what is anxiety? Anxiety, it's a result of the mind racing to fix, to control, to protect, to defend, to accomplish, to achieve. And that's actually blocking the light for my life. Like the Rav Berg used to say, the light wants to come in, and you tell the light, I'm sorry, The store is closed now. I'm busy. Every day, we get renewal of miracles, renewal of energy, renewal of health, renewal of creativity, renewal of blessings. Am I allowing it to happen? And what I would like to challenge everybody here, do something drastic this week. Decide, you know what, I'm going to put the alarm, the timer in my clock. Every hour I'm going to say, pause, please, the Creator, recharge me, show me. I don't know. By the way, every time you get to a moment you have no control, you don't know, you feel you're in the unknown zone, relaxed. Open your heart to those moments. Take control. Yeah, there's time we need to be in control. But all those times that you feel a little bit out of control and the mind tries to be in control, keep your heart open. I'm not in control. That's a great opportunity for pause. So another commitment you can do, choose few hours. Choose 24 hours. We choose 25 hours a week not to use our phone. Let go completely. Not to connect to social media. Do some pause outside of the typical reactive self that needs to know, that needs to control, that needs to measure, that needs to see, that needs to figure it out. Let's create space. Create space. Where do I get my life force? Because it's my willpower I want to live. I'm alive because the light is charging me right now. That's what allows me to be alive. So the life of everything, the life of my talent, the life of my family, the life of my love, dependent on allowing. Pause, surrender, allow.
I'm smiling because I don't know if you made the conscious choice to bring this up, but we spent a couple episodes, and I think it was about a month ago, talking about the importance of acceptance, self-acceptance, self-love. And I think a lot of people's inability to pause comes from their need to justify their existence, to prove their worth, to belong, to fit into a particular group or situation. And the mind is constantly on fire trying to create and figure out and add value and prove. And that when you are able to pause and to surrender and to allow the way that you're describing, Eitan, you really connect to your intrinsic value and the light that you reveal simply because you exist, which is such a place of power to come from, rather than I'm as valuable as my last project. I'm as valuable as the last meal I cooked. I'm as valuable as the last thing I said. No, the light is simple. And as we are simple and just allow ourselves to fill, to take space, we, like the light of the Creator, allow things to grow and to manifest with ease and with support and with blessing, rather than needing to prove, to justify. That hustle is exhausting. So it's not only about pausing to recharge, it's also not who we are at our essence. And the more we'll take this, your challenge to heart this week, but as a means to implement it for all time, you'll see that alignment strengthens and grows, because in the same way that the light fills whatever vessel it's given, we begin to allow our energy to fill the spaces we give it, rather than need to force or to make things happen in a certain way.
I love it. Well, the last thing I want to share is just a thought regarding self-love or trusting the Creator. Rather than thinking that I'm the one that's creating my energy and my life and my success, I'm the one that allowing my energy to be revealed. The light of the Creator to show itself. My true essence to shine. We all powerful beings. When we're trying to control, to manipulate, and it comes from fear, I'm not enough, and only then We're not allowing, we're not creating the energetic pause, frequency pause to allow our true self to emerge.
So powerful. I'm going to take that to heart this week also. Weekly Energy Boost is available on all podcast platforms, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. You can follow us on all of those channels to receive more guidance and support to apply what we share with you every week. You can also visit weeklyenergyboost.com to search our archives, learn more about the things we think are important for our listeners to know. Send us a message there and click the donate button to support the production of our podcast. But as always, the way that you help us shine is by you sharing the episode with as many people as you think can receive the message. And I'm sure the more people that hear this, the more allowing that takes place, the more revelation will take place as well. And we'll see you next time on the Weekly Energy Boost.
Beautiful.